To cross-examine them on the contents of their affidavit. I've got instructions, therefore, to also request that we be afforded the opportunity to cross-examine the two witnesses whose statements were handed in yesterday.
Who are those?
I should think that is Fejun and Hrobla, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Hrobla and Tini.
Have they been handed in, Mr. Balo, you said?
No, not as yet. We're going to hand them up this morning.
Okay, fine, yeah.
Yes, madam. Nonetheless, even if they've not been handed in, but we're going to request that we be, I've got instructions that I should request that we should be afforded the opportunity to cross-examine those witnesses, which request is premised on Section 35 of the Constitution, because as it stands, we would not be in a position to cross-examine their affidavit if they are not being called to come give oral evidence. Thank you. That is all that I was requested to come and request the court.
Yes, Mr. Balo.
As a court, please, my lord. Section 212,
Yeah.
subsection 12, affords the defense the opportunity to request the court that those witnesses be subpoenaed, and will quickly refer to section 212 subsection 12. It reads as follows: the court before which an affidavit or certificate is under any of the preceding provision of this section, that is now section 212, produce as prima facie proof of the relevant contents thereof, may in its discretion cause the person who made the affidavit or issued the certificate to be subpoenaed to give oral evidence in the proceedings in question, or may cause written interrogatories to be submitted to such person for reply, and such interrogatories and any reply thereto purporting to be a reply from such person shall likewise be admissible in evidence in such proceedings. So the defense is at liberty to ask the court that those witnesses be subpoenaed, and my lord, there are various authorities on this point. We're not going to dwell on them in detail. For instance, State versus Hlongwa, 2002, volume 2, SACR, page 37. In this case, it deals specifically with a J88 certificate, medical certificate. It says at paragraph 39, B to C, even where a certificate or affidavit by a doctor complies in every respect with section 2124, if there is a request from the accused or his representative for the doctor to be called, the court must exercise its discretion under section 212 in bracket 12. And it says when the request is made by a legal representative, the court should be inclined to call the doctor unless it is clear that the request is frivolous or that no good purpose could possibly be served by calling the doctor. And there's also another case, State versus Armstrong, and another. The decision of the Southeast Division, 1998, volume 1, SACR, at page 698. In that case, the state handed in a sworn statement by a police forensic expert who had examined 2 firearms and a number of cartridges. And the sworn statement was handed in terms of Section 2124A of the Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 77 without objection by the defense. Neither was there any request that the deponent be called to testify in order to elucidate the report. And during argument on the merits, counsel for one of the accused applied formally for the court to exercise its discretion by calling up the witness to testify. It appeared that the expert had used a microscope for his finding that the cartridges had been fired by the firearms which he had examined. And in this case, my lord, the court exercised its discretion to subpoena the witness. So we are in agreement, my lord, that should as it is the case, should the defense request that these experts, the ballistic experts, be requested to come and testify, that the court has got their discretion. But that will happen much later. At this point, my lord, as I said, indicated yesterday, the state intends to proceed in terms of Section 212, subsection 4, and we beg leave to hand up the 2 exhibits. As we mentioned, the exhibit of Captain Grobler in terms of Section 2124A will be exhibit NNN, and the affidavit of Captain Tini, also in terms of Section 2124A, will be exhibit OO. And my lord, we beg leave to read the contents of the 2 affidavits on record.
Yes.
And Advocate Sibanda will proceed to read them into the record.
Yes. Read them into the record.
Yes.
You interpret after the
As the court proceeds.
usual. Thanks.
I'll start with exhibit NNN. Affidavit in terms of Section 212 of Criminal Procedure Act 1977, Act 51 of 1977 is amended. Rieta Grobler declares under oath in accordance with Section 212, subsection 4A and 8A of Criminal Procedure Act 51 1977 is amended as follows. I, number 05341451, I am a captain in the South African Police Service at the Forensic Science Laboratory, 27 Pretoria Road, Silverton, with telephone number 0128455772. I am a forensic analyst. I am in the service of the state. Paragraph 2. I have been attached to the ballistics section since 2000 as an examiner of forensic ballistics with the following qualifications and experience. Academic qualifications: I obtained a baccalaureate RTM degree specializing in criminology during 1999 at the University of Pretoria. I obtained the advanced certificate in forensic criminalistics specializing in forensic ballistics from UNISA in 2001. I have date examined excess of 6,805 cases. I examined ballistics related cases as part of my daily task and testify on a regular basis in courts of South Africa. I have attended the following internal and external training interventions: identification of ammunition, fired bullet and fired bullets, the use of microscope equipment, the microscopic individualization of firearms, ammunition, fired bullet and bullets, acquisition of fired cartridge, case and fired bullet data on integrated ballistics identification system (IBIS), microphotography, identification of firearms, the examination of firearm mechanisms, the examination of homemade devices, techniques associated with recovering and restoration process of obliterated alphanumeric figures on metals, the reloading of ammunition and the manufacturing process of ammunition, short range determination, crime scene investigation and examination techniques, the taking of photographs and the documentation of results during an investigation, microscopic individualization of tools and tool marks, physical matching, documentation of examination results, internal forensic ballistics, functioning of firearm mechanisms during firing process, burning rates of propellant powder and gas pressure, the transfer of marks by the firearm to cartridges, fired bullet, intermediate forensic ballistics, the effect that hot gases, propellant powder and partially burnt propellant powder has on intermediate target before and after the exit of a bullet from the muzzle, the foaming effect of secondary missiles caused by the intermediate targets, external forensic ballistics, the trajectory of the bullet from the muzzle of the firearm to the final point of impact, terminal forensic ballistics, the wounding effect that the bullet has on tissue in brackets wound ballistics, the effect that the bullet has on target, the effects that the target has on bullet, the examination of burn mark and tattoo marks on animals as stated in the Identification of Animals Act 2000, Act number 6 of 2002, the examination and physical matching of burn mark and tattoo mark equipment, the examination and physical matching of animal bones, tusks, horns, hides, and skulls. I visited the following ammunition manufacturers to ascertain the processes that are used in the manufacturing ammunition: Pretoria Metal Pressing, PMP, Stormcam, Sword Clip, Littleton Engineering Works in Pretoria. I was declared competent and proficient in forensic ballistic examination. Paragraph 3. On 22 July 2020, during the performance of my official duties, Lieutenant Colonel C. Mangena came to my office with a case file requesting a microscopic opinion regarding the following exhibit: bullet and test-fired bullets. 3.1 19mm caliber fired bullet marked 217-267/14A2. 3.2 89mm caliber test fired bullets marked 369TB3 to 369TB10 respectively. Paragraph 4. I examined the fired bullets mentioned in paragraph 3.1 and 3.2 and compared the individual class characteristic markings transferred to them by firearm components during the firing processes using comparison microscope and found 4.1. The bullets mentioned in paragraph 3.1 and 3.2 were fired from the same firearm. The conclusions arrived at were based on facts established by means of an examination and processes which require knowledge and skill in forensic ballistics. Paragraph 6. I know and declare the contents of this declaration. I have no objection to taking prescribed oath. I consider the prescribed oath to be binding on my conscience. Signed by Captain R. Krobler. And then on page 4, there's a certificate by the Commissioner of Oath, N. Chotovu. It was signed on the 11th of September 2024. That's the end of exhibit and end.
Because I've read this also. Just read the second one also, so that you just proceed on the two of them.
Yes.
Yeah, read the one by Rata. Is it Rata?
I've read the Rata. Now I'm moving to affidavit in terms of section 212 of Criminal Procedure Act 1977, Act 51, 1977 as amended. Malisela Eliakim Ntini declares under oath in accordance to section 212 subsection 4A and 8A of Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1977 as amended as follows. I number 7055656. I am a captain in the South African Police Service at Forensic Science Laboratory of 270 Pretoria Road, Silverton, with telephone number 0128455902. I'm a senior forensic analyst and I'm in the service of the state. Paragraph 2. I've been attached to the ballistic section since 2005 as an examiner of forensic ballistics with the following qualifications and experience. I obtained a BTech degree in policing from Tshwane University of Technology in 2004. I obtained a postgraduate diploma in criminal justice and forensic investigation from University of Johannesburg in 2006. I obtained a diploma in policing from the Technikon Pretoria in 2003. I obtained a certificate in criminal justice from Technikon Pretoria in 2000. I visited the following firearm and ammunition manufacturers to ascertain the processes that are used in manufacturing of firearms and ammunition: Pretoria Metal Pressings, Somcam in Cape Town, New Generation Arm NGA. I completed a course in blood stain pattern analysis in 2012 and 2013 offered by Bevel, Gardner and Associates from the United States of America. crime scene reconstruction bloodstain pattern analysis level 1, shooting incident reconstruction bloodstain pattern analysis level 2, advanced shooting incident reconstruction bloodstain pattern analysis level 3, and ballistics modeling. I've to date examined excess of 3,500 cases. I examined ballistics related to cases as part of my daily task and testify on regular basis in the courts of South Africa. I have attended the following internal and external training interventions: identification of ammunition, fired bullets and fired cartridge cases, the use of microscopic equipment, microscopic individualization of firearms, ammunition, fired bullets and fired cartridge cases, acquisition of fired cartridge case, fired bullet data on integrated ballistics identification system, in brackets IBIS, microscopic individualization of tools and tool marks, physical matching, microphotography, identification of firearms, the examination of firearm mechanisms, the different manufacturing process of firearms and firearm components, the examination of homemade devices, techniques associated with the recovering of restoration processes of obliterated alphanumeric figures on metals. Paragraph 2.313, the reloading ammunition and the manufacturing process of ammunition, short range determination, crime scene examination and recording of techniques, documentation of examination result, internal forensic ballistics, function of firearm mechanism during the firing process, burning rates of propellant powder and gas pressure, the transfer of marks by firearm to cartridges, fired cartridge cases and fired bullets, intermediate forensic ballistics, the effect that the hot gases, propellant powder and partially burned propellant powder has on an intermediate target before and after the exit of bullet from the muzzle, the forming and effect of secondary missiles caused by the intermediate targets. External forensic ballistics, the trajectory of the bullet from the muzzle of the firearm to the final point of impact. Terminal forensic ballistics, the wounding effect that the bullet has on tissue, in brackets wound ballistics, the effect of the bullet has on the target, the effect that the target has on bullet. I was declared competent and proficient in forensic ballistic examination. On 22 July 2020, during the performance of my official duties, I was requested by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena to provide a microscopic opinion regarding the following exhibit bullet and test-fired bullets: 3.119mm caliber fired bullet Mark 217-267/1482, 89mm caliber test-fired bullet Mark 3690B3 to 3690B10 respectively. Paragraph 4. I examined the fired bullets mentioned in paragraph 3.1 and 3.2 and compared the individual and class characteristics markings transferred to them by firearm components during the firing process using a comparison microscope and found 4.1. The bullets mentioned in paragraph 3.1, 3.2 were fired from the same firearm. 5. The conclusions arrived at were based on facts established by means of an examination and process which require knowledge and skill in forensic ballistics. Paragraph 6. I know and understand the contents of this declaration. I have no objection in taking the prescribed oath, consider the prescribed oath to be binding on my conscience. Signed by Captain M. Indini, and it was commissioned by Tuguzani Justice Mtembu on the 11 September 2014. There's also a date stamp on page 5.
As a court, please. Lapha-ke affidavit ngaphansi section 212 ye-Criminal Procedure Act yaka-1977, Act 51 of 1977, emva kokuguqula. Thola lapha ngu-Rita Kloba usho ngaphansi kwesifungo ngaphansi ka-section 212 subsections 4A and 8A we-Criminal Procedure Act number 51 1977 njengokuguqulwa kwayo uthi-ke lana ukapteni esiphoyiseni sase-South Africa ngaphansi kwe-Forensic Science Laboratory 270 Pretoria Road, Silverton. Uthi-ke umhlaziyi we-forensic osebenzela-ke umbuso. Uthi-ke usenza ngaphansi kwe-ballistic section waqala ukusenza umnyaka ka-2000 hlola-ke izinhlamvu. Uthi-ke izifundo zakhe BA lapha afundekala iBA major in criminology yase University of Pretoria, wathi une-advanced certificate se-forensic criminalistics eyathola e-UNISA. Uthi-ke ukufikela namuhla unemacala awu-6,805 awenza and uyaqhubeka nokwenza umsebenzi we-ballistic. Uthe ufundele izifundo lezi ezilandelayo: ukuhlola izinhlamvu ezidutsholiwe ngaphansi kwe-microscope, hlola izimpawu nokuhluka kwazo ngaphansi kwe-microscope, ukwazi ukuthola amagobolondo esibhamu akwazi ukwafaka kumshini lokuthiwa i-IBIS, ukuthola izithombe zezinhlamvu ezingaphansi kwe-microscope, ukwazi ukusho ukuthi yini umehluko phakathi kwezibhamu, ukwehlukanisa izibhamu nokusebenza kwazo, ukuhlola oqhwasha izibhamu zokuzakhela, and futhi-ke nokuthi achaze ukuthi kwenzeka kanjani ukuthi kube nokuguquka ezinhlamvini esesetshenzisiwe ukufakwa kwey'nhlamvu ezibhamini, nokusho ukuthi-ke ingabe inhlamvu idutshule ibanga elingakanani, futhi-ke nokuhlola-ke izindawo la kube khona nobugebengu, ukuthatha izithombe, nokuthi-ke ahlukanise izimpawu ezisemathuluzini asetshenzisiwe, aqhubekele phambili ekufundeleni ne-internal forensic ballistic ukuthi inhlamvu iqhuma kanjani ngaphakathi kwesibhamu, ne-intermediate forensic ballistic la kuchaza khona ukuthi uma isibhamu siqhuma lokhu okufuthwa ngako la ngaphakathi kwesibhamu kusebenza kanjani, kuya ngakuphi lokhu ukusunduza inhlamvu kuhamba kanjani ngaphakathi kwesibhamu nanoma sekuqhuma esibhamini. Ne-external forensic ballistics ukuchaza ukuthi isibhamu-ke uma inhlamvu isiphumile esibhamini ihamba kanjani. Terminal forensic ballistic ichaza ukuthi lapho inhlamvu eshaya khona kuye kugcine kunezinto ezinjani ezikwazi ukubonakala ukuthi wahamba wayobuka la kwenziwa khona izinhlamvu zezibhamu lapha e-Pretoria Metal Processing, eSomcam, eSwartklip, Littleton Engineering Works, kuthiwa-ke wabonwa njengochwepheshe kweze-ballistic ukuthi ngomhla July 2020 umhla 22 esemsebenzini wakhe u-Lieutenant Colonel Simangena weza kuyena wafika wamnika inhlamvu eyodwa uhlobo le-9mm edutshuliwe emakungukuthi 217267/14A2. wasemnika nezinye iy'nhlamvu ezisishiyagalombili eziwuhlobo le-9mm nazo ezazidutshuliwe njenga-inhlamvu zokuhlola ngazo ama-test bullet ezazimakuthi u-TB3 uyofika ku-TB10. wathi wasihlola-ke lezi iy'nhlamvu ekhulunywa ngazo ku-3.1 no-3.2 wasethola ukuthi lezi iy'nhlamvu zonke zidutshulwe isibhamu esisodwa, and wase-ke ethatha-ke isinqumo sokuthi lokhu ufikele kukona ngokuhlolisisa lezi iy'nhlamvu athole-ke ney'mpawu angazikhomba ukuthi zimholele ekuthatheni leso sinqumo, ukuthi uyawazi umsebenzi uyazi nokuzwisisa ukuthi yini ebhalwe kule affidavit, and futhi-ke akanankinga ngokuthatha isifungo, futhi-ke uyazi ukuthi lesi sifungo siyambophezela kunembeza. Emva kwalokho khona nesitifiketi lapha esabhalwa uNkosingphile Ntshontsho isibongo lesi angikwazi ukusifunda kahle, kodwa-ke lona-ke wayeletha isiqiniseko kusho ukuthi u-Commissioner of Oath ngomhla ka-11 kuSeptember 2024. Esibili-ke ilethwa uMalisela Eliakim Mtini, naye uthi ukapteni esiphoyiseni sase-South Africa ngaphansi kwe-Foreign Science Laboratory esendaweni eSilverton ePretoria. Uthi-ke naye uyi-senior forensic analyst esebenzela-ke umbuso. Uthi-ke usesebenze kule ballistic section ukusuka ngomnyaka 2005, and futhi-ke uthi ifundo zakhe une-BTech ye-policing evela kuthiwa ne-University of Technology, une-diploma ye-criminal justice and forensic investigation yase-University of Johannesburg, une-diploma-ke ye-policing yase-Technikon Pretoria, une-certificate se-criminal justice esivela e-Technikon Pretoria, and ukuthi kwavakashela lezi nkampani Pretoria Metal Processing, Somcam, New Generation Arms eyohlola ukuthi kusetshenziswa kanjani ekwakheni izibhamu. Uthe wafunda-ke efundela nokuthi-ke amachaphazelo ey'bhamu egazi, wafunda-ke izigaba ezintathu zawo kusuka ku-blasting pattern analysis level 1, level 2 level 3. Uthi-ke wasiqhubeka lapho-ke wathola ithuba lokuthi hlola-ke amacala ngaphezulu kuka-3,500 inkulungwane ezintathu namakhulu amahlanu. And ekusebenzeni kwakhe-ke kuningi akwaziyo ukwenza emsebenzini njengokukhomba izibhamu nezinhlamvu ezidutshulwe yibhamu, ukusebenzisa i-microscope nokuhlola konke lokhu ngaphansi kwe-microscope, kufaka iy'nhlamvu kumshini i-IBC, ukukhombisa kufanana kwezinhlamvu nokuzihlola ngaphansi kwe-microscope, nokuhlola ukusebenza kwezibhamu, nazo zonke izibhamu ezokuzenzela ekhaya, oqwasha, nezindlela-ke zokukhombisa ukubuyisa izinombolo ebese zisusiwe ezibhamini. And wasefundela futhi-ke kusebenzisa-ke internal forensic ballistic ukuthi kwenzekani inhlamvu imiqhuma ngaphakathi kwesibhamu, nokuthi inhlamvu isiphuma esibhamini iphuma kwesekwenzekani. Kuqhubeka kufundela external forensic ballistic ukuthi inhlamvu isiphumile la ishaya khona ishiya kunjani. And waseqhubekela phambili kuyachaza ukuthi ngomhla 22 July 2020 kwafika kuyena Lieutenant Colonel Mangena wazomcela ukuthi akamsize ukuthi akhiphe umbono naye ukuthi-ke lezi inhlamvu amnika zona akwazi ukuziqhathanisa. Wathi wamnika inhlamvu yokuqala kuyi-9mm eyayidutshuliwe emaku-217, 267, 1482 nezinye izishiyagalombili nazo zama-9mm ezasisezidutshuliwe ezazimakwe ukuthi u-369 TB3 kuyofika ku-369 TB10. uthi ngazihlola-ke lezi iy'nhlamvu ekhulunywe ngazo ku-paragraph 3.1 no-3.2 ngase ngiziqhathanisa ngokubona-ke ukuthi iy'mpawu zazo zinjani. Ngase ngithola ukuthi-ke lezi ibhamu lezi iy'nhlamvu ekhulunywe ngazo ku-3.1 no-3.2 zidutshulwe ngesibhamu esisodwa. Uthi-ke lokhu ngafinyelela kona ngokubheka ukuthi zikhona yiziphi iy'mpawu ezibonakalayo ezikhona, ngisebenzisa-ke i-forensic ballistic ukuthi ngiyakwazi-ke engikubhale kule affidavit konke, futhi-ke anginankinga yokuthatha isifungo, futhi-ke ngiyazi ukuthi ukuthatha isifungo kuphoqelela ukuthi kuyangibophezela kunembeza wami. Uyisayindile-ke la intini. Kwase kuba noThokozani Joseph Mthembu, yena-ke owaba ucommissioner, wakhomishina lesi statement ngomhla 11 September 2024.
You said you couldn't pronounce the name of the other Commissioner of Oaths.
I'm afraid, my lord, it looked very illegible to me.
Chochovo. Oh, super.
Thank you, my lord. Chochovo.
Thank you.
Yes, quite please, my lord. We request that the two affidavits be admitted as evidence before this court as Exhibit NNN and OOO.
Okay, thank you so much. Just tell me, I see the act says they must be subpoenaed.
Yes, indeed, my lord.
Not ordered.
Should the court be inclined
Yeah, I'm going to grant
to grant the
the
request?
application, because in this court every piece of evidence must be traversed so that nobody says, okay, if we are correct. Yeah, I see it says subpoenaed, but
Yes.
look, I've got to issue an order. Or you go to the register, right? And then
Yes.
he issues the subpoena. But if you say they will come here, when do you want them to come here, Mr. Miss? Your application is granted. When do you want these guys, the lady and the gentleman, Tini and Problem?
Thank you, my lord.
To come here.
These are state witnesses. And we have
No,
objected
fine.
yesterday that we cannot go along with what the state intends
No,
to
no,
do
fine,
by simply
fine.
submitting this affidavit. So I do not know when does the state
No,
intend to
it's
call
not
them.
about them. It's about you. You are saying you
At any time.
launched an application to cross-examine them. So I want to know from you,
At any
when
time.
will you be ready?
At any time.
That's all.
Thank you.
Will they be ready on Monday, sir?
I would imagine so, my lord.
Can I adjourn so that you phone them?
Yes, that's a question.
Okay.